Hi guys, so we're literally parked at like a Love's right now. Is it a Love's? I don't know. We're at a Love's or something of the sort. It's probably a Pilot if it's not a Love's, but we're at a truck stop. Anyways, that's besides the point. I decided, I got my little notebook here, but I decided to make this video because everybody has been asking me what are the pros and cons to truck driving. I've received DMs from strangers or I've been asked by family and friends, pretty much just, like, what do you do, a bunch of questions. But pros and cons have been my most the pros and cons to truck driving has been the most asked question since I've started and told people what I do. So I figured I might as well make this video instead of answering everybody's questions individually. So let's just get right into it. But before I start, I want you guys to know that this is an opinions video. It's not set in stone. And it's also according to what I do specifically. For those of you who don't know, there are a lot of different jobs when it comes to getting your CDL, your Class A license. And I specifically do 48 states. I am a solo driver. I drive for a specific company. Don't quite know if I'm just going to blurt that out just yet. But I work for a specific company, and I do no touch freight. There are people who unload their trailers. I don't unload my trailers. So with that being said, I'm going to start off with the pros, and this will be my opinions on what I do and all of that stuff. So let's go ahead and start it off. So the first pro for me would be freedom. Okay, I think that truck driving is one of the most liberating jobs that a person can have. For me, I think that it is way better than having a 9-to-5. I've had all types of 9-to-5s. I've worked at a gas station. I've worked at a restaurant. I've worked at a retail store. I've worked some of everywhere. And I have a lot of experience when it comes to minimum wage jobs and things of that nature. This is a job where it is not minimum wage, right? But you are also given the opportunity to travel. And that wasn't one of my pros. Okay, so you are also given the opportunity to travel, right? You have the ability to set your own schedule. Like I said, it's no 9-to-5. You can wake up at 12 p.m. if you're somebody who likes to sleep in, or you can wake up at 4 in the morning like I do, and you can set your schedule from there. You do have an 11-hour period in which you can drive. So, the earlier you wake up, the earlier you get done throughout the day. So you get what I'm saying? You have the freedom to set your day up accordingly. You can also request certain states to go to. So for those of you who don't know, it's called a 34-hour reset, right? And a 34-hour reset is when your 70 hours on your clock runs out. And I'm not familiar on if other companies have it the exact same way or not. I'm sure that this is a state regulation or a country regulation, whatever. Guys, I'm not into the law of this, but just know that generally you have to do a 34-hour reset when your 70-hour clock runs out for the whole week, and you have to take a day and a half in which you reset your clock. So you have to cease driving, right? You can ask your fleet managers if you can go to California for your 34-hour reset, or Virginia. I just know that is one of the best perks about driving a truck. You get to pretty much use it to your benefit. You can travel for free. You know what I'm saying? So I would definitely take that into consideration for those who have not yet decided to drive a truck. Number 2 for me, which it's a pro for me, right? But it may not be a pro for you extroverts out there. But my pro would be that you're alone, okay? I actually like being alone, right? I took this time to really reflect on who I was as a person, to learn about myself, to learn what I like, what I don't like. And I've also taken this time to get closer to God. I was not as close to God as I thought I was before I got on the truck. And now I realize that this has been something that God has used to bring me like me and God type okay? And I used it to my benefit. So for those of you who probably, I don't know, I guess the introverts will love this job, right? The extroverts, you can still work your way around it, but I'll talk about that later. But yes, being alone is a perk for me. It's a pro. It's a time for reflection, so consider that. Yeah. And you also don't have to deal with coworkers. I never really had a problem with coworkers, but it's a breath of fresh air to not have to. Sometimes you're just not in the mood to be around people. I'll say it that way. And if you're not in the mood to be around people, it takes a lot of energy to act like you're, you know, up here when you're sort of down here. Not to be a mope, you know, don't be a mope, but you know what I'm saying? Being able to work alone, you can sort of just be yourself. You don't have to fake a smile, you know, for who? A ghost, you know? Like, you know? So, yeah, that's a pro for me. The third pro for me would be the pay, okay? Driving a truck, you actually, it's not minimum wage. Let's put it that way. It is not minimum wage. For the specific job that I do, and the fact that I don't have as much experience, and I chose pretty much one of the lowest ranks, I make $50K a year, just about $50K a year, right? And but being that this is one of the lowest ranks, you can recognize that you can make a lot more, right? So say for instance, if you were someone who did unload the trailer, I'm not gonna do that, but if you wanted to do that, you would make more money than I do. But the pay is generally good. Now also, it also depends on the company. I've heard of people who worked at other companies, and you really just have to do your research when you're in trucking school, because the other companies, you could pretty much be doing the same thing that I'm doing, and you end up making less, or some companies you end up making more. I'm not gonna say that my company is the best company, but anyways, yeah, do your research for sure about the company that you want to do. And a lot of people would know that in truck driving school, a lot of times people come in and sort of recruit people in, and so they'll give you like this, like they'll do this big old presentation about what their company is about, and you can sort of figure it out from there. They don't really leave you dry or leave you hanging. So that's how I got into this company. So yeah, pay is pretty good. Some people use it as a career. It's not a career for me. It's just for me though, you know. It could be a career for you, because you can definitely level up with your experience and all of that. So and that brings me to the next pro, which is the potential. Sorry y'all, somebody just called me, and I do record on my phone, so sorry about that. But yeah, so the potential, you can become an owner operator, right? And an owner operator, for those who don't know, is pretty much somebody, well, honestly, I don't have the best definition. From my understanding, you have the ability to own a truck, right? You probably purchased one, right? You do it without needing a fleet manager. You don't have a fleet manager, or you don't have a company that you're under. Let's put it that way. You don't have a company that you're under, and so you're not like the middleman. You're getting the revenue that the company would receive. And so you make way more, right? And so that's one of the potential things that you could do. And a lot of people, they go from buying one truck to buying a few trucks, and before you know it, they have a fleet. So if you want a trucking company, getting your CDL, your Class A, and then starting off as a truck driver would be the best way to sort of start that off. And you don't even have to be an owner-operator. Honestly, once you get your Class A, another potential thing that you can do is increase your endorsements. Endorsements, you go to the Secretary of State and you take tests. So, for instance, you need an endorsement to drive a reefer truck. A reefer truck is a refrigerated truck. So you know, load and drop off, well, you don't load it, but you drop off goods that are refrigerated, like drinks and stuff. So, yeah, you have the opportunity to do that. Or there's another endorsement where you can drive triples and doubles. So those are, have you guys ever seen like the trailers where they're like, I'm gonna put a picture somewhere, but the trailers where they're like more than one trailer hooked to each other, you would need an endorsement for that. And clearly, if you have to go the extra mile to get an endorsement, you'll get paid more for it. So that's potential too. And you also have the potential, if this is something that you would look at as more of a stepping stone, it would be potentially a great way to stack, to save. That's what I'm doing. And I find it the best way to save because I'm over the road. I'm not really buying anything. I don't have a reason to buy anything. I stopped paying for my car because I'm not even at home to drive my car. Like, you know what I'm saying? All my bills are buying groceries. So, or my phone bill too. But it's, yeah, like you don't really have to spend all the money. And again, it really just depends on your situation, because sometimes people come out here and they have families and things like that. But you minimize how much you have to spend because you're not at home. And my dad would tell me that it costs $1 to walk out your house. And that's true, because the minute you walk out your house, you're bound to spend some money. It's different when you're on the road, right? You don't have to spend money unless you take advantage and you start spending a bunch of money on food that you don't have time to spend money on. You know, you have to be responsible. But that's a potential thing that you could do with truck driving stuff. So another pro for me would be convenience. Being on the road under a company. So again, I'm going into specifics here with me. It is convenient because I don't own this truck, right? So the truck will sometimes break down, or I haven't really had it break down more than once, but there's been times where, I'm not going to talk about that yet. I'm going to talk about that later. There's been times where my truck did need something to get done. Like, for instance, something that I couldn't do, like fill up the oil. Like maybe the tire needed to be changed or whatever, or something a little bit bigger, because I would need to be sat in a hotel while the truck got fixed on. And oh, somebody is so for sure looking at me and staring at me right now. I'm so embarrassed. Okay, anyways. That's so embarrassing. The convenience, that's what I was talking about. The convenience of not having to pay for your truck is good in itself. But another convenience is my company in specific, even though I feel like other companies do this too, but my company specifically, they pay for my hotel room. So I pretty much, while my truck is getting fixed on, I'm in a hotel. And so I take advantage of that because I can go shopping. I've been to restaurants. I've been to movies. I'm not really somebody who parties, but for those who would party, I guess you would be able to do that while your truck is getting fixed. Another convenience is you don't really pay for gas. Like, you don't pay for gas. That's period. Like, you don't pay for gas. You don't pay for your showers. You would have to pay for your showers if you didn't have a rewards card, but I would suggest that everybody get a rewards card if you're a truck driver, because your company pays for the gas and you swipe your rewards card to receive the points that your company paid for, and so you get the showers for free, whereas they would normally cost like $12. So definitely get into that if you haven't already, or if you haven't started truck driving period, do that. Okay, because that is a convenience that you don't want to have to not have just because you don't have a rewards card. Another pro for me is you have to look at it as it's your home away from home. And that's how I look at it, for sure. This is my house, right? So you can decorate if you want to. You can make food in here if you want to. Like, most trucks have an introvert. Oh, I'm sorry. Not an introvert, an inverter. And if you have an inverter, then people keep staring at me and it's so freaking weird. If you have an inverter in your truck, if you don't, you can buy one. But if you have an inverter in your truck already, you can use it. And then I said it in my last video, but an inverter is when you can plug things that would normally be plugged into a house. You can plug it in your car, because it has that two-prong deal, like a plug, like a socket. There we go, a socket, right? So with an inverter, you can pretty much, as long as you don't go over your wattage, you can buy like appliances. Like for me, I have an Instant Pot, I have a skillet, I also have a cooler in here. This cooler is electric, so I don't have to put like ice in it, and so I use it as a refrigerator. So I don't have to buy food out all the time. Like, that's sort of something that people do. I keep saying sort of. That's something that people do, but I feel like you can easily avoid spending the extra cash. You can instead use it to your ability. Use the truck to your ability. Decorate it if you want to. Get some knickknacks. Get some posters. Get some seat covers if you're into that. Get some stickers. Put some stickers everywhere. Get a rug. Get a few rugs. Get some really comfy like mattress covers. Like, I have a memory foam mattress cover to make sure that my bed is really soft when I go to bed. And I have different sheets and covers and things like that. And get you like some teddy bears if you're into that, if you're just somebody who likes to cuddle or whatever. And I know that was pretty weird, but yeah, make it to your liking. It's your house. Use it as your house. Don't just use it as a job, because you will get burnt out. You won't find it as beneficial when you don't have the necessities in here. Like, I could get into a whole nother video about it, but yeah, make it comfortable. Get you a coffee maker, drink you some cold brew coffee, throw you in some creamer and have you a cup of coffee in the morning. Like, get it together. Make this your home, because it is for however long you plan on being out here, and that's just period. Okay, so that is a pro for me, because I have the ability to live without paying rent, and I have the ability to make money in the same place that I go to sleep at night. It's perfect. So that's my pro. Another pro would be that you don't have to be alone. You can invite a passenger. Now, I don't know about all companies, but I know for my company it's $12 a month, because you need insurance for the passenger. I didn't get all into that, but I do know that I've been a passenger at one point in time, so I do have a little bit of experience with that. But yeah, you can have a passenger on your truck. You don't have to be alone. So say, for instance, I have a little brother, and I would anticipate him getting on a truck. He's about 13. I think it depends on the age. I think they have to be like 10 or older. Again, it depends on a company, I suppose. But yeah, you can have a passenger. You can literally have, I believe, just one person, or you can have a dog, or you can have a cat, or whatever. But you don't have to be alone. You can invite your brother. You can invite your husband or your wife or your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. You can invite your best friend. You can invite one of your parents that's retired, or whatever the case may be. Invite somebody for a week or so and bring them back home. Don't leave them on the truck with you, because you will get tired of them. You're in a closely confined area. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, have time to spend with people that you would probably not be able to spend as much time with. Yeah, have fun with that. Another pro, sort of weird, but I just recently had this done, and I posted it on Instagram and everything. But you have little quirks about working on a truck. Like, for instance, I pulled up to a Walmart, right? And at this Walmart, my assignment was to take a trailer, and the contents in the trailer was defective. So they wanted me to get rid of it and bring the trailer back. For whatever reason, they didn't want me to open up the trailer on the property because it had a seal. So I couldn't do that. Weird. Anyways, pulled off, opened the trailer. It was one box. And the box had like 8 to 10 boxes of cereal, right? So I made sure that the cereal wasn't defective. It wasn't. The only thing that was wrong with the box was torn open. So they're throwing away perfectly good cereal. I took it to my advantage. I took the whole box, right? So I have like 10 boxes of cereal as it stands right now. And I've been waiting to give people cereal, but it seems like nobody really likes cereal. I asked this one guy, and he's like, oh, I don't need that, blah, blah, blah. So, but if anybody wants cereal, if you live like in the Michigan area, I'll probably be able to give you some. But yes, little quirks like that. You probably run into that every blue moon, but you know, you'll probably at one point go to Walmart and they're getting rid of some socks or some ear pods. I heard that they were doing headphones at one point in time. I would have loved to receive a box full of defective headphones. So yeah, little quirks like that is always a pro for me. And the last pro for me would be the experience. I can tell you right now, this job is not no Uber Eats. You are not driving Postmates. You are not driving Lyft. This is a truck driving experience. If you're in an account like me, you're doing over the road, you're doing 48 states. I myself live in the north. I live in Michigan, right? And so I don't often go down south. And that is a huge perk for me. That is a huge pro. I get to experience the scenery. I get to literally see what all God made, right? In the confines of my own country, okay? Because I would love to go outside the country, but no. But yeah, you get the experience that I don't think any other job besides like maybe a flight attendant, but then that goes against being an introvert. But you don't really experience anything like this. This is an experience that I feel like only you would experience if you're a truck driver, you know? So I would definitely take that into consideration too. You only live once, and if you have the opportunity to sort of get away from the life that you're in and you need time to refocus, stack, save, whatever, get in the truck driving. What are you doing? Unless you have something better to do. And for me, like I said, it was a stepping stone because I have goals set after this. But the experience in itself is a blessing. I take this as a huge blessing to be able to see the country, stack and save, and all of that, all in the same breath. It's nothing like it. I would never have regretted something like this. And that's just that. A truck literally parked right in front of my son. So if it's dark, I'm sorry. But yeah, so from that, we are going to get into the cons. Okay guys, so actually this video was too long, so I cut it in half. The cons are on the next video after this, so check that out. And I love you so much. Thanks for watching. Bye.